r/askreddit, teachers of Reddit, what is the creepiest thing you've ever seen a child do/say? Not a teacher, just a parent. But when my youngest daughter had just started to learn to talk, she'd always say, "Night daddy." Then all of a sudden one night, and for about a solid 2-month period after that, she'd get really quiet as we were saying goodnight and whisper, "Don't die." Seriously, having a 2-year-old suddenly get all serious and whisper, "Don't die" is about the creepiest thing ever. Then a few months later she changed it up, and her nightly farewell to me was, "Daddy, don't die. Don't kill." During our yearly puberty class I had a student ask what happens if the condom gets stuck. Another student shot his hand up and said confidently, "Pliers." Dear God. My favorite quote from one of my students is when they were curious about oral sex, and one kid shot up his hand and said, "I know what it is." "Oh, do you, Jimmy?" "Yes. It's when you say, hello we are having sex." I died on the spot. I said, "Trust me, I'm a doctor" to a kid, then all eyes turned to me. "Are you really a doctor?" "No, it's just a saying." Then one boy, without looking up from his work, says, "My daddy pretended to be a doctor. He got in trouble." I work at a school in the Middle East that attracts a lot of privileged kids from the region. The other day, a boy came running up to me looking huffy, and he said that another kid had been hitting him. He finished his complaint with the following gem: "Sir, I'm not his maid. He can't just hit me whenever he wants." Former high school teacher here. A student once made a doll of me, complete with outfit, and carried it around school for a day until the guidance department got her and told her that wasn't appropriate. The same student emailed me at my personal email address years later on the day she turned 18 to let me know it was her birthday. This happened to one of my male co-workers in an elementary after-school program. Co-worker was holding a tin of chocolate chip cookies for a party we were having later that day. A 3rd grade girl, who up until then was my favorite student, asked him for a cookie and he said, "No, these are for later." She then said, "Give me a cookie or I'm gonna tell everyone you touched me in my privates." I once had a 6-year-old threaten to slit my throat. It was several years ago, and I forget the exact context of the situation, but I remember I asked him to do something, probably like go sit in the circle for circle time, and he told me he'd slit my throat. In 5th grade we all had to have kindergarten buddies. I, of course, got the kid who said he was going to stab me with scissors. Well, I'll break up the creepy party for a minute. I asked a kindergartner what his favorite animal was, and he looked up at me and said an apple. I once asked a kid if he could have any pet in the world, what would it be? He answered with yogurt. I'll allow it. As low excitement as it may be, technically it is life. This happened to a guy in my department. On the first day of school he played the tell me 2 truths and 1 lie icebreaker. One student gave him this: "My face is blue. I like to play video games. I once scaled a fish alive and watched it die." Not a teacher, but remember some weird classmates. When I was in grade school, we would periodically find dead seagulls in the backfield, possibly killed by neighborhood cats, or whatever, and this one girl decided one day to put one on her head and chase the other kids around the schoolyard with it. I'm talking a dead seagull that had been ripped open and had bloody guts all over it. I had a student who was joking about how the calcium sulfate I had in the lab was cocaine. Long story short, I turn around and see this kid rail a line of the stuff. He screamed, then got the most hardcore bloody nose I've seen to this day. I used to be a camp counselor, and I was outside the bathroom waiting for one of my kids to come out so I could escort him back to his bunk. Kid, hey, can you come in here? Me, wait, why? Kid, I want to show you something. Me, I don't think that's a good idea. Is there something wrong? Kid, it's all red. Me, oh. We should go to the nurse then. I'll take you after you're done. Kid, silence. Never mind. It went away. Good God, what type of bullet did I just dodge? While resolving a dispute between 2 of my students with Asperger's, one said to the other, "I'm going to cut you up into little pieces and sew your skin together into a rug and then pee on it. Love my kids XD." My 9-year-old cousin decided to ask me a question one Thanksgiving night before his family left my house. He glanced at my legs and then looking me in the eyes said, "When you're dead, can I play with your body?" Not a teacher but a waiter. I heard a little girl ask her parents, "If you were food would you rather be eaten or thrown away?" More deep than creepy really. Teaching swimming. This one kid was just a little abnormal. Not in the goofy kid way, in the what's wrong with him way. When giving him instructions or telling him what to do, he would look back with a blank stare, like I was speaking another language. Now he looked normal and did the normal kid things, never got in fights yet showed zero emotion. One day instead of swimming with the other kids, I noticed he was staring at the corner where all the bugs collect. He tore them apart limb by limb, head, torso all in separate pieces. WTH, I'm thinking, that is a clear sign of a serial killer, so I asked him why. He said I like the way they wiggle when I take their arms off. I'm a teacher's aide for a 3-year-old program at a small school, and this is one of the freakiest experiences of all my 2 years being there. This child, Digo, was given the assignment to draw his family. He was all smiles and giggles while doing it, and drew his family in color, except for one figure, which was taller than the rest, and colored in black. When I asked him who that figure was, the smile disappeared from his face and he became silent, and would just stare down at his lap. I asked about his family. Apparently he just has a brother and both his parents living at home, which would account for 4 figures. The black figure was the 5th. Edit, just to let you all know, it's not Slenderman. The only thing I was able to get out of Digo was Fernando, when I pointed to the figure and asked who that was. I used to teach after school. One of my students said you're all fat to a group of students. I guess she felt really bad about it, so she wrote them all cards with "you're not that fat" written on the inside.